Hey guys, what's up? Alec back with another stock market investing video. And today we're going to be talking about a bunch of great things like Pfizer stock and why it's not going up. We've heard some great news around Pfizer stock. So what's the deal with it? We're also going to be talking about Litecoin and other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin because they are on absolute fire right now. So we definitely have to give an update on those. And then finally, we're going to be talking about Apple stock because it's on fire too. It's at all-time highs. And we're going to finish off with some stimulus updates and some stimulus news. So if that sounds like a good agenda for you guys, make sure you stick around the whole video. Remember, I'm always super straight to the point, so there's going to be no fluff in here. We're just going to get straight to the point with what's going on in the market. And you'll also see I'm up $350 in the day. We're only up $670 in the week, which is about 3%. And then we're also up $2,000. And in the last month, we're up about 16%, guys. So if you need some help and you want to see what I'm buying, go ahead and reach out to me in the DMs. I'll be more than happy to run it through you. I actually do have a website. It is a paid program. If you don't have a lot of money, don't worry because all my YouTube videos are absolutely free, no cost at all. But if you want to get some of that premium content, go ahead and reach out to me in the DMs. All right, enough of that though. Let's get right into the video. So let's get right into Pfizer. Let's talk about Pfizer. And it's all exciting news. So why did it go down? It's also one out of three major vaccines. You have Moderna. Now, here are the other vaccines that everyone knows about. You'll actually see that mRNA, Moderna is also down 11% in the week. And BNTX, biotech, is also down about 20% in the week also. Now, the short answer to the question is that the good news was priced in because everyone knew it was already going to get approved. So you'll see a lot of these stocks in the last 3 months are up like 50, 60%. If you look at Moderna, you'll actually see in the last 3 months, they're up 105%. Now, we also got some news that the vaccine does have side effects, especially if you have an allergic reaction. Those are some of the most severe side effects, along with Bell's palsy, making people's face go numb, and a bunch of other actual side effects too. Now, also what I want to touch on, there's a lot of uncertainty around these stocks, so there's no guarantee that these vaccines are going to work. So in the next few weeks to a few months, we could even see worse side effects potentially. Nothing's a guarantee, obviously, I don't know, but you always want to look at the risk before going into a stock like this. So in my opinion, the risk is very high because we don't have all the answers yet, and there's a lot we don't know about it and a lot of uncertainty around the stock too. Now, this was the news that it looked like it put Pfizer and a lot of the other companies down. As soon as this was released 2 days ago, you'll actually see the stocks were downtrending. And that's the news about the new variant to the disease that's spreading very rapidly in the UK right now currently too. And the fear behind it is that the vaccine will not control this new variant. But you actually can see right here, the significance of the variant remains unclear, but experts remain confident that it will not evade the protection offered by the vaccine. So in reality, you have nothing to worry about and the market has nothing to worry about. But when they hear news like this, the stock market, remember, like we always talk about on this channel, it's very overreactive. It always reacts to extremes. So you have to be very cautious. Pfizer is a tough one. I don't think anyone could have predicted it going down. Remember, it just got approved for emergency delivery out of nowhere. The United Kingdom, the UK actually bought a bunch of vials and a bunch of doses. Canada bought a bunch of doses. And then America even, you'll actually see the US got approved for a bunch of emergency delivery. So we know this news and it's all exciting. So to see the stock market overreact about some small news like this is very typical actually. Now, let's look at some financials real quick and compare it against Moderna. So you'll actually see they've been beating earnings consistently in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 has not been determined yet. And they were pretty much on par in Q3, and they actually lost earnings a little bit in Q4 of 2019. So if we scroll down here to the net income is what looks like they're really strong at. So in 2015, they went down 23%, then they recovered with a 3% gain. And then in 2017, they really recovered with a 65% gain. After that, they went down 13%, which isn't the worst thing after having a 65% gain at your company. And then in 2019, they followed up with a 53% gain. So they look like a pretty strong company when it comes to net income. They're a profitable company, and they've been growing profits. In 2019, they had $15 billion in net income, which is a huge amount, actually. Now, the revenue, they're a huge revenue company too, but they're not really growing revenues. They've been staying consistently at the same revenue for the last few years. After that, you look at the balance sheet, which isn't the worst thing in the world. They have a lot of assets and not as much liabilities as you would think. So they're only about 62% assets to liabilities, which isn't the worst. And if you click on their balance sheet and actually look at their cash or cash equivalents, they're down about 43% year over year, which is very bad. It's bad when you're looking to get into a safe company. And when you want to know your money's secured, typically you want a company that has a lot of cash and cash equivalents. After that, we'll look at liabilities, and their long-term debt is up 38%, which is not the best thing, obviously, in the world for your cash to be lower and your debt to be higher. Here we have the competitor, Moderna, mRNA. And what you'll actually see is in Q3, they lost earnings a lot. They're actually negative. So you'll see the EPS is actually totally negative, which is a bad thing right off the bat. And then we'll go over to net income. And right there, what you guys will see is negative earnings. Negative 200 million in 2016, negative 255, negative 384, and negative 514. So if you guys remember when we looked at Pfizer, they were earning like 10 billion in net income. So financially, I would say they're a really strong company, Pfizer, when you look at their income statement. And if we look at the revenue on Moderna, you can actually see it falling, which is a huge red flag. And they only did 60 million in revenue in 2019. But I think it'll be really interesting to see their revenue in 2020 and see how the vaccine has actually affected their revenue. For all we know, their 2020 numbers and 2021 numbers, especially, they can have like 1,000% growth on their revenue. They can go from 60 million, to 6 billion in revenue. That's very realistic for a big company like this to be doing. That's actually picked up one of the best vaccines. Because in my opinion, if you look at some of the news, the vaccine that Moderna offers is a little bit better for storage wise. It has to be, because Pfizer has to be stored at such a high temperature. It has to be stored at like negative 100 degrees or something. I'll put the exact numbers up on the screen. And then Moderna still has to be stored at a very cool temperature, still negative something, but it's going to not be as significant of a freeze as Pfizer is the good thing about Moderna. So that means that the transportation for Moderna could be a lot easier. Now, after that, we look at the balance sheet, and in my opinion, they have a really great balance sheet. It's only 26% on their liability to assets. So as you can see, their assets, they have 1.5 billion, which is really, really good for a company like this to have. And their liabilities, they only have about $500 million. So they have like 4 times the amount, which is really good to see a 26% right there. Now, if we click into their balance sheet, look at that. Their cash and cash equivalents is up 766%. So this one, I think in my eyes, is going to be a little bit safer, but it's not going to offer as much growth unless we see their vaccine exploding their revenue, right? So it is safer because look at the cash and cash equivalents is good. The balance sheet is good. They're really just slacking on their revenue and their net income, which can be made up very easily with their vaccine once they start getting their vaccine out. Now, if we scroll down and we actually go to the long-term debt, the bad thing is they're also up on their long-term debt and their other current liabilities too. So those are things to definitely take into note. Overall, this is going to be a huge market in 2021. More than 10 billion doses of vaccines have been pre-ordered. So I think we can see some major growth in this space. And these are some of the competitors. This is just one article if you guys want to read it. I clicked on this one right here, how vaccines are being divvied up around the world. So feel free to do some of your own information and your own research. Next, we're actually going to be talking about cryptocurrency here. Wow, $23,000 on the way to $24,000. Look at Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, up 30% in 1 week. $5,000 up in a week, up 41% in a month, up 116% in the last 3 months, guys. So obviously everyone knows about Bitcoin and the story behind it. It had its huge run up. It's had the biggest crash ever known to man, from 20,000 all the way to 3,000. And look at that run up. It's higher than it's ever been. It's going crazy right now. So I'm sorry if you guys did miss out a little bit on the Bitcoin train. In the crypto sector, actually pay close attention on Bitcoin versus Ethereum and versus Litecoin when we look at those two, because what you'll see is, look how high it was at 20K in 2017, and then it crashed and it never recovered back to an all-time high. What's happened with Bitcoin in the last 3 months specifically, it's gone up 115%, and it's made new all-time highs that it hasn't seen since 2017, right? If we pull up Litecoin, for example, look at where it's at right now, December 10th. It's not even to where it's at was in 2019 at 137 in 2019, let alone 2017 when it was at $300 per coin. So if you pull up Bitcoin again, look at December 10th, it's at a way all-time high. It's higher than it's ever been. And if you look also, look how close Litecoin always has followed Bitcoin. In December 21st, 2017, December 14th, 2017, it was close to an all-time high. December 14th, 2017 is, I think, when it hit its all-time high. And then after that, it was June 6th. And if you pull up a Litecoin chart, look at that, December 14th, 2017, December 21st, 2017, it was following Bitcoin to a T. And then look at that, right on June 13th, just like before in 2019, it spiked up just like Bitcoin. But we haven't seen that new all-time high like Bitcoin has that recently found and passing the all-time high. So in my opinion, and this is obviously not a fact for sure, but I think that Litecoin can go all the way up to $300 a coin, $200 a coin, especially if Bitcoin is following and it's seeing the new all-time high with Bitcoin. Litecoin can see some new all-time high too, because if you didn't know, Litecoin's basically the silver to Bitcoin's gold. It's basically the third largest cryptocurrency, and the second largest, and my personal favorite, is Ethereum, right? And Ethereum isn't at its all-time high that it hit in 2017 either. But what you'll see is in 2000, it follows a little bit different than Bitcoin did. Here's 2017 when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. It was at about $736, and then it kept going all the way up, like about a month longer than Bitcoin did, all the way to $1,000 per coin. So right now it's at 672. And I've been buying for a long time right at 474. I actually have more Ethereum on my PayPal. I decided to buy some on my PayPal, and I have some on my Coinbase too. So in my opinion, I think it's very realistic for Ethereum to see all-time highs, new all-time highs. It would have about 100% gain if it did. As you can see, it's up 67,000% in the last 5 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I think Litecoin and other cryptocurrencies like altcoins also can all find all new time highs, especially if we see Bitcoin not cooling off anytime soon and Bitcoin just keeps going up and up and up. I think that we can actually see Litecoin finding new all-time highs, Ethereum finding new all-time highs, especially if Bitcoin holds its ground and it stays at the $20,000 mark, the $22,000 mark. Now, if Bitcoin goes back to 19, 18, 17, it's probably going to take a little bit for these other coins to find new all-time highs. But that's my opinion on Litecoin. I own about $1,700, which accounts for less than 5% of my entire portfolio. Remember, Robinhood's not my entire portfolio and my only portfolio. So the 13% portfolio diversity, you can't really look at that because I have Litecoin only on my Robinhood. But remember, I also have Fidelity, Vanguard, Webull accounts. So in reality, it's closer to 5% on my diversity. We are up 82% overall on Litecoin. I actually sold $400 worth today, so I did a little bit of a swing on it. You'll actually see right there, market sell, selling at about $93 a coin and then $109 a coin. So I'll probably be buying more back around $80 a coin, looking to buy my $400 back in at, and then keep swing trading this one too, because the swing trade's actually been really nice on Bitcoin for the last, and Litecoin for the last few months. Nice little swing trades. Now, after that, let's briefly talk about Apple because we've found new all-time highs also recently. Well, you'll actually see the all-time high was maybe $1 or $2 more, but it's near all-time highs right now, and it's up a good amount in the last 3 months. It's up 17%. And for Apple, such a big company to be up, it's really, really impressive. Now, one thing we do want to talk about is this one right here, the Apple Fitness Plus. And this Apple Fitness Plus will take Apple to the next level, in my opinion, because it's a reoccurring subscription base. And you'll actually see this article goes into detail about how it's going to be leaving Peloton trailing in subscriptions. So as we know, for the stock market, subscription-based services really pay off. Look at Disney Plus and how much that's done for Disney stock. So right here, you'll see what happened. Munster estimates that Apple will be able to gain 15 million subscribers in the next 3 years for its newly launched fitness services. Munster noted that Peloton, as a comparison, has 1.8 million paying subscribers at the end of the last quarter, 500,000 of which are paying $12.99 per month, plan that does not require a bike. So fitness is a great space to be in. As you can see, Peloton doesn't even require you to have a bike, and almost a quarter of their subscribers don't even own a bike. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on, Apple Fitness Plus and Apple stock in general. Obviously, they also have the new iPhone that they put out, the 5G iPhone, which is going to be huge in the next coming years. And they also have those over-the-ear headphones, the studio luxury headphones that they just put out also, which was total surprise for a lot of people. So they are always innovating, and Apple's one of those companies that you can count on to always be reaching and trying to get to that next level and staying relevant too. The last thing about Apple we'll talk about is that Facebook accused Apple of anti-competitive behaviors over privacy change, which I think is kind of dumb, so it's not really worth to talk about. But if you guys are an investor in Apple or Facebook, it might be worth it just to read through it a little bit. But that's kind of just fluff news. But honestly, I don't think it's going to go anywhere or lead to anything. So the last thing we're going to be talking about is stimulus news and stimulus update. So if you guys came for the stimulus update, here it is. Now, as far as stimulus news goes and for a stimulus update, the stock market is rising currently on expectations of the stimulus, obviously, and it has been for a while now. Also, I think that's why cryptocurrency is rallying. But the news is it's going to be $600 per adult, not $1,200 like last time. And it's also going to be $600 per child. So if you have 10 children, you can have $6,000. There's actually no cap on the amount of children. And it also accounts as adult dependents too, if you have any of those. Now, it's going to be the same qualifications as last time. So if you make $75,000 or less, you will be getting the stimulus, the $600. And you will lose $5 per $1,000 over that threshold too. Now we'll see $17 billion just for airlines alone. So that's why airlines kind of have been rising in the last few weeks to a month, is because they also have the hopes of the stimulus getting passed, and that's $17 billion for airlines. Talking about unemployment, there's about 1.4 million on unemployment, and it's rising very, very rapidly, and it's rising more than the expectations were too. And unemployment is boosted again to $300 for 13 weeks. So $300, it got boosted again. And they wonder why people go on unemployment and then they give them $300. Now, obviously, this is money that we don't really have at the moment. We'd have to put this money into circulation. So we would have to put this new money into circulation, which again crashes the dollar. Like we talked about in the last video, it dilutes the dollar whenever we put more money into circulation. I think, what was it, 25% of all money in circulation was put into circulation in 2020, which is absolutely ridiculous to think about. 25% of all money in the world, in America, was put into circulation this year, right? So let that sink in. And just so you guys know, daily cases per day are not getting any better. We've actually had 245,000 new cases in one day, guys, with the highest death toll in a single day at 3,611 people dead in one day. So almost a 250,000 new cases in a day and 3,611 people dying in one day. So it's not getting any better. It's not like we're improving anything. It's actually getting worse and worse and worse too. So keep that in mind. And if you guys want to see a full stock market crash video, comment below. I probably will be making one because I have a lot of good information that I want to put out to you guys too. So stock market crash video, comment below if you do want that. And also some other news is Moderna is to get approved by the FDA in the next day or two. So by today or tomorrow, Moderna actually should be approved by the FDA, just like Pfizer got approved as well. So that's the video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy it. Leave a thumbs up if you did like it. I put a lot of value into this video. We talked a lot of different topics. So if you like this kind of format of video, make sure you comment below saying how much you did like this video. I really appreciate your guys' support. It really goes a long way when you comment and like the video. Also, share it with a friend if you think that they can find some value in this video and you think it could be beneficial for them too. And don't forget to join my close friends private list group. If you guys see yourself losing money consistently day after day, reach out to me so you can actually see what stocks I'm specifically buying. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, remember, don't time the market, buy the market. Peace.